Hey guys, my name is Nick. This is Nick's Fort. I do filmmaking tutorials. If you are new, welcome. Today, I'm gonna share with you guys how to do some basic sound design for your videos. And when you apply basic sound design to your videos and films, it's going to take them from here all the way up to here. I'm not sure if this is, there it is, the top of the frame. So to start things out, I'm gonna share with you guys a video I just made of myself eloping with my now wife, Chelsea. It has some nice sound design, and I'm gonna break down how I did that.
I've been in your waters, been knocking at your door. I know one thing for sure, I've never been so close before. You were truly my lover, but it was over so fast. Just one thing to discover, it was never built to
So as you can see, that video showcases that story. It has some music and it has some sound design underneath. We're gonna jump into Premiere Pro and we're gonna kind of walk through how I did the sound design on that and how you can apply that to your videos. All right, so we are in Premiere Pro here, and if I go to the front of this, and I'm gonna play this video without the music, so I'm gonna mute that track right there. And we're gonna listen to the sound design, or at least a little bit of it without the music, so you can get an idea of what that sounds like. So let's just go one by one here, and let's look at this very first track that I have right here, this audio clip. So if I reveal this in project, we're gonna take a look at what that clip is called. And it is called SUV Dirt Road POV. So that is a clip right there, and that's exactly what it sounds like. And that's exactly what we have here. We have us driving our 4Runner, which is in that category, and then the sound is perfect. So if I click and listen to this track, those are birds chirping in the woods. We're driving through the woods. That makes a lot of sense. And again, if I look at this in the Explorer, we're gonna see that that is up here, forest birds. We also have another clip here, tires on gravel road, which I believe is going to be this next clip. So if we listen to this clip. And then the last clip on the bottom here, it's actually a cymbal, and that cymbal is coming in with a rising sound. And that's sort of like complementing this truck as it moves into the frame, kind of grand cymbal as we enter the park that we're gonna go elope in, okay? And then when we play these all back together, we have a little bit of like this nice robust feeling of sound that's sort of like, it fills the environment. So as we go from one shot to the next shot, so we have that big sweet aerial of the 4Runner going down the road, and then we cut to the shot of us driving into the park. When we go from one scene to the next scene, if there is a sound that makes sense that carries over, like the sound of the birds in the forest, we're not gonna just click and drag the clip across both shots. We're actually gonna cut it and then use a different piece of the clip of the sound of the birds, because you're in a new location and it shouldn't be a continuation. There should be a hard jump in between this location to that location. Even if the sound effect is going to be the same sound effect, you need a cut, a jump in the sound effect. Now we're just gonna actually look at how I would go about manipulating the volume of all of these tracks. And the way that I'm gonna go about doing that is I'm gonna have my music on the top track here, and I'm gonna right click on that, and I'm gonna go down to audio gain. And then right under here, normalize all peaks to. So the peak amplitude right now is 0.06. So that's gonna be above 0 on the side over here, which is a no, 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 you don't wanna do that. So I'm gonna go to normalize all peaks to, and I'm gonna do -3 for my music for this situation, because I feel like this is a powerful song. It feels loud when we're listening to it, so I don't want it to be overbearing, and -3 is a good spot for this to hit. And then on these sound effects, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna hit audio gain, and for the sound effects, I'm usually gonna normalize those to anywhere between, you know, -10 up to, you know, -20, and it kind of depends on the clip, but something like that. And then I'm gonna do that for all these sound effects, and that's gonna sort of balance out the sound effects that I have underneath my music here. And then as I go through this and listen, I might say, oh, this clip, the SUV dirt road POV clip right here, it's just a little too quiet. So if this was at 0, right? I just raised that up. I raised that up 6 decibels on the volume of the clip here, and that's how I'm gonna tweak it as I move through. The last thing I'm gonna do here is, I didn't use this voiceover. I wasn't super stoked on how it turned out necessarily. I think I kind of sound sad, which it doesn't make any sense at all. But I'm gonna take this little slice of voiceover right here. Oh no, swing that mic back around. So that right there is a little tip. If you want to record a voiceover in a room that's like echoey and stuff, grab your little sound blanket, make a little nook over your mic, and then you should get some nice, deep, buttery, bassy, CANON supported VO. And I have it right here. I'm gonna click this, I'm gonna drag down the audio only. I'm gonna put it down here, and we're gonna see how I would manipulate that. So I've dropped it in here, and I usually normalize my voiceovers to -0.5. And this is for the web, okay? So, you know, kind of maxing out the decibels on the right-hand side, but that's just how I do it for the web. And so if I play this back, we drove into the mountains. You see it's peaking over here on the right. We don't want it to peak, so I'm actually gonna go back here, and I'm gonna do audio gain, and this time I'm gonna do adjust gain by. I'm gonna do adjust gain by -1 decibels, and that's gonna bring that down, and then I'm gonna play it back, and a spot. That's much better. So if I was gonna work this voiceover in, which I chose not to do, I'm gonna go in here, I'm gonna unmute all my other tracks, right? I'm gonna go to the top. We drove into the mountains. So the music is clearly way too loud. So I'm gonna go up to my music, and you can either do this right here. You can go in here and you can click and drag this down and maybe hit, I'm gonna say -21, and we'll play it back. We drove into the mountains in search of the perfect place, a spot. And so all of my sound effects are way too loud compared to my voiceover now. So I'm gonna go ahead and click and drag over all these sound effects. And since this is gonna uniformly bring them down, I'm just gonna do an audio gain adjustment, adjust gain by, and it's just gonna adjust each clip by the same amount. I'm gonna do -5. And that's gonna bring all the volumes down on all of those clips down equally. So it's not gonna ruin any of the work I've done. We drove into the mountains in search of the perfect place, a spot that we could call our own, with no one else around. We found that spot down by the river, and that's where we decided to get married. We didn't want a traditional wedding. We wanted our wedding to be about the two of us, because after all, isn't that what marriage is all about? It's about finding that special someone that you want to spend the rest of your life with, that person that you want to share all your moments with. At least that's how we felt. Okay, so as you can see, as we go through the edit there, you really just kind of like, you move this, you move that, you adjust this, you adjust that, and you sort of massage the volume of your sound effects versus your music versus your dialogue. And you can do that with the right-click audio gain adjustment, and you can either increase it to a certain level, you can decrease it to a certain level, you can normalize the peaks. The normalization of the peaks only works really on the first pass. So when you first put it down and you're like, I want to normalize and bring up the whole thing about to -3, it's gonna bring up the whole thing to that, and it's gonna like, it's really nice for the first go ahead. But as you move forward, you wanna just do adjust by -2, adjust by +2 for your audio gain, or you can adjust with the actual volume and you just click in there and you drag up, or you can go into the effects panel and adjust your volume in there. When I am mixing my sound, for dialogue, for me talking into the mic, hello, I am going to do -0.5 for my dialogue. That's where I'm gonna start for YouTube, for the web, for Instagram. This is not for broadcast. I'm gonna start there, and I might have to bring it back a little bit as I add more layers, because the sound's gonna hit above 0, because you do not want to go above 0. You don't want those little red bars happening, so make sure you're below that. That's the #1 rule. Music, I'm gonna set to like -3, and then if it's underneath me talking, if it's like a music bed, I'm gonna drop that down to like -20, -26, -28, whatever sounds right in my headphones when I'm listening to it. And then for sound effects, those are gonna hit anywhere between like -8 to maybe -40. And that's really, really a huge range for your sound effects. But the truth of sound effects is you need to decide what sounds good in your video, in your application for that particular moment. And a good rule to follow with almost everything that you do creatively is, let's say you set it to -20 and you're like, sounds perfect. Give yourself like 5 minutes, come back to it, set it to like -26. So maybe like 6 decibels lower, or just a slightly less volume, and listen to it again. The chances of you overdoing it are good. The chances of you underdoing it are bad. So usually if you make a sound mix and then you dial it back a little bit, it's gonna be that much better. So you wanna be subtle with your sound design, because if it's too much, it's just gonna be like, it's gonna be noticeable. You don't want the sound design to be too noticeable. You want it to just be like, this feels more full as a video. Not, oh, I noticed that he put crickets in there. You wanna avoid that. So before you take off, if you guys like this content that I'm creating, it would be extremely helpful if you guys give the thumbs up a click below. It helps this video get seen by more people, and so I can help more people learn more stuff. If you drop a comment, same thing, more people engage and more good stuff comes out of it. So if you guys are sticking around and staying tuned every week and hitting that notification bell next to the sub bell, which if you aren't subbed, you are welcome to sub if you would like to. I appreciate that, and until next time, I hope you guys get out there and create some cool stuff. Peace.